Hey everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides and the universal energies. Yeah, very short haircut, that'll see me right till after Christmas, so fabulous. And I probably wouldn't be able to show you Onyx as it is anyhow, because she is very skittery, but I can't show you because we can't find her. We had a locked in the spare bedroom with, the litter tray and the food and the water and a few toys and some snuggly bits. Last night, my daughter went in there and sat and read out loud to her for an hour and a half. Problem is, I can't do it because I end up with two dogs desperately trying to get into the room. So my daughter went and did that. All smoochy, all lovey, all purry and all the rest of it. Had something to eat. Daughter came out, we were going to bed, and Onyx was just crying and crying and meowing and meowing. So we propped the spare room door open with a couple of bricks so uh, she could get in and out, but the dogs couldn't. And said, okay, right, night time, we'll let her have free reign of the house. Put the dog door in so she couldn't get out the dog door, even though it's a magnetic one and she probably wouldn't have been able to anyhow. And got up this morning, we can't find her anywhere. She's here somewhere. She is in the house somewhere. But bugger if we can find her. So I think she's probably up inside one of the lounge suites. Don't want to move them. We've taken all the kickboards off the kitchen cupboards. Can't find her. Don't want to do the lounge suites because don't want it to end up getting trapped in anything underneath it. So kittens, don't you love them? They're as stressful as having babies. Okay, what do I want to have a look at in this particular reading? I'm going to use the Gilded Tarot Royale. I want to have a look at the reason why the Orange Twerp has ordered the Pentagon to look at going in guns a-blazing into Nigeria. Is it just a distraction? Right, so apparently on Untruth Social, because this is how apparently the government announces things nowadays, is on their Untruth Social page that doesn't actually have as many followers as you'd like. Apparently there's millions of followers, but if you ever have a look at any of the posts, they've only got at the most a couple of thousand likes. Don't bother going and looking if you don't have to sign up to actually look, but it's pretty much what you'd expect. Anyhow, so on Untrue Social, he's posted a threat to Nigeria claiming of persecution of Christians, and that if it doesn't stop immediately, the US is going to go. He's going to order the Pentagon to go in guns a-blazing. Now, there is no evidence to this claim. The Nigerian president spokesperson has come out and said, what? No. Apparently the population of 220 million, it's about 50-50 Christian and Muslim, so about half and half. And apparently with the national security issues that are happening in Nigeria at the moment, both sides end up being unalived, and their religion is actually not so much determined by identifying the person, but it's the location. So the Christians tend to live with the other Christians, and the Muslims tend to live with the other Muslims, and it's determined by location as to what religion they probably. Not guaranteed accurate. So the Nigerian spokesperson has come out and said that's Trump's style of going forceful and basically making threats in order to force a sit-down conversation. And as I split the deck to start reading, we do have the Emperor going in, guns a-blazing, forceful, in some sort of announcement regarding overseas with the Three of Wands, some sort of overseas announcement. Now, I want to have a look, 444, to see whether this is a distraction from what's happening in Venezuela. Now, the reason being is I'm going to have a separate reading on this, but apparently Keg's Breath has come out and issued a directive for the top brass to sign non-disclosure agreements about what is happening in the Venezuelan area, the Southern Command. Now, I'm pretty sure the top brass are already required by their positions not to disclose secret information, etc. But a non-disclosure agreement is more than simply secrets. It's basically saying that until your deathbed, you cannot disclose. It may have an end period, but you are not allowed to disclose anything. There's also put out a directive that anyone in the military must get permission from his office before they're allowed to speak to anybody in Congress. So what are they plotting? But that's not what I'm looking at. I want to have a look at why did the orange twerps threaten Nigeria? What's going on with this? No evidence whatsoever. Why was the threat? And the Nigerian government are probably going, what? All aid has been ceased to Nigeria, immediately stopping any aid that was going there. I don't feel it was just an excuse to stop aid, because he would have stopped it anyhow if he wanted to. It just would have been a ruling by royal decree. But let's have a look. Come on down. Why picking on Nigeria? Okay, the Seven of Cups, illusion, delusion, distraction, smoke and mirrors. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a smoke and mirrors. Look over here. I'll be interested to see if the magician that comes out. So it's a smoke and mirrors exercise. Okay, let's see where this goes. The challenge is being forced to surrender. Guardrails in place and being forced to surrender information. Oh, yeah, these two readings are linked. I might just do it into one big long one. Let's see how we go. Because the challenge is having to surrender information. So it's a smoke and mirrors at having to surrender information to Congress is what I'm getting, is the challenge. We've got the false knight here, presenting something that turns out to be untrue. In the past, we've got the Two of Wands, decision about which path forward to take. In the past, you can either go down in the dark thicket or you can take the higher path of strength. I suspect they're down in the thicket at the moment. Okay. So I don't know whether, I tried to look it up, but I mean, Congress is shut at the moment. Is the Oversight Committee, let me just click over here and see if I can get those cards a little bit brighter for you. Asking for information on what's happening with Venezuela. Okay, crowning this reading is the Four of Wands. This is my announcements from the White House. The rah, rah, rah announcements coming out of the White House. Okay, so expect some sort of announcement to come from the White House. Well, I suspect there already has, because of the challenge of having to present information here. Present a plan. Okay, why Nicaragua? The Lover's card in the immediate future, the fading misogynistic energy, the fading chest beating energy. In the immediate future, the unbalanced relationships. Queen of Cups, trying to keep a lid on something, and the Ten of Pentacles externally, trying to keep something unrevealed. With this, we've got the Knight and then the Queen. So he's offering up something that is not going to have any further information come forward on it. And the Ten of Pentacles is very much about those with their snouts in the trough, can be oligarchical money, but it's just end of a cycle of end of a legacy cycle internally, and it is the legacy card. Now we know the orange twerp is desperately trying to create a legacy. Do not be surprised if he tries to stick his head on the Lincoln Monument. I'm surprised he hasn't brought up Rushmore again, but legacy here. 2 tens though, hopes and fears. The chaotic inability to get this up the hill, and it ends inability to bring it back to where it needs to be. It's just too much overreach here. 2 tens with this fading energy. The outcome, the Justice card, the Moon card, and the 6 of Swords. So the Justice card can be actions having consequences, but there might also be some serious legal action that goes up to the Supreme Court here. The Moon card, secrets being revealed that can no longer be denied, and we are, I think, approaching a full moon, aren't we? It was pretty bright last night. And the 6 of Swords could be the fleeing card as they're unable to harvest what they're putting out there. Okay. So to me, this Nicaraguan threat is pure and simple a distraction tactic. So let's have a look. Is this a distraction from what's happening in Tower card? Is this, these cards here, they're so well loved and furry and sticky and blown up that they won't really poke a shuffle, so we'll give them a good shuffle this way. Is the threat to Nicaragua unfounded claims of, with no evidence? The Nicaraguan government's going, what? Is it purely a distraction from what's going on? Is it purely a distraction from what's going on? Inability to harvest? Is it purely a distraction from what's going on in the Caribbean? I mean, the false flag against the USS Grassley was outed. Let's have a look. So, if Plan B doesn't work, try Plan C to try and bring something home, try and harvest. The challenge is the announcements coming out of the White House that they're finding themselves entrapped by. Base of the reading, the Page of Pentacles. Well, first of all, we know it's all about money, 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 money. But why this? Is it a distraction? On the back foot, on the defensive. Okay, so I think they're getting pushback about what's happening in the Caribbean. Oh, there's been a request for documentation is what I'm getting there from those in Congress. I think that's what I'm getting. There's a request for documentation. And those in the White House are finding themselves trapped by what is actually happening. Okay, crowning this reading, an attempted show of strength. However, the orange line here is chained. So an attempted show of strength in the face of this, the outcome. The Sun card, the immediate future, something being exposed big time. That is going to put a different slant on everything. Hung upside down, shook out, the money shook out, suspended. Because I did ask, is it an attempt to distract from what's going on in the Caribbean, which is a yes. Internally, the 5 of Cups, a loss. Could be a false flag, but I'm feeling more that there's just the inability. I mean, the people just aren't believing what this White House are putting out there. or the Pentagon. Right, emotion, 3 cups spilt. Internally, 3 cups spilt. Having to walk away with those 3 cups spilt. There we've got the unbalanced again, the fading misogynistic, the mercenary, this is the outcome, and the judgment card. I'm going to say yes, it is, and I think it's because somebody in Congress or one of the committees in Congress has asked for documentation about what is going on in the Caribbean, because with these fading misogynistic contracts and agreements, and we've got the mercenary here and the judgment coming forth, and this card was upside down, but I'm just going to say there's going to be a whistleblower here, a whistleblower about what direction was taken, and it's the Tower card, shining a light on the snake in the path and the investigation. The cards just keeps, I was going through what was on the bottom, and it's just what I'm always saying. That it's all about dark money, money changing hands, being outed. Yeah. I just, it's getting, it's almost like rinse, repeat readings on these things. And that's what it feels like. It feels like, oh, here we go again. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Oh, dear. Okay. I'm going to leave that there. Yes, it is a distraction over what's happening in the Caribbean and Venezuela. I suspect there's been some perhaps someone in Congress or a committee has requested documents on what's actually happening, and it's yeah, smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. It just okay, gonna leave that one there. I will do a separate reading for Hex because yeah, it's gonna do a bit of a dive on that one. Okay, catch you shortly. Bye bye.